Here comes a thrift store video. After my long trip, I went on sale days to the thrift store. I found a handful of things, but I found one thing that deserves a video of its own. This is a small portable washing machine that I figure could come in handy in the RV, and here's a review of it. So all that said, I decided that this one purchase from the thrift store, I'd do a whole video on it, and then I'll do video on the other stuff I picked up. I think I got some useful stuff. But I've always wanted one of these portable washing machines. So being up front, I don't know at this point if this is something I'm going to keep forever and that I'm going to cart it around in my small Class B all the time, even though the measurements aren't very big. Here, check out the measurements. As you can see, it's about a foot wide, about 18 inches tall, and inside it's about 10 inches deep. There's always a possibility that I could give this to, I know, fellow RVers that full time that might get more use out of this than I do, that have bigger RVs, because even though it's small, it still takes up space in a Class B. But the price was 13 bucks, but it was $9.75 because it was 25% off day. I don't think you could probably buy a brand new 10-gallon bucket for $9.75 for under 10 bucks. So it was a hard thing to pass up on. It doesn't appear that it's been used very much, and that can be good, or that can mean it's garbage. It's hard to tell, but I figured it was worth giving it a shot. I mean, I don't eat there, but I'm not even sure if you can buy a Happy Meal for 10 bucks anymore. You know, I don't eat that fast food garbage. Let's check it out a little closer and see what else you get with it. And I'm going to give you a test. I'm going to try using it, which means I'll have to set all kinds of stuff up. But let's take a closer look at it. I looked online. Amazon has them, but they didn't have any price listed. Overstock had them for $112 brand new, and I saw used ones for like 60 bucks on eBay. So I think under 10 bucks I got a pretty good deal. This is a hose, and what you do is you connect that to your faucet, and then this is a sprayer kind of thing that you use to spray the clothes. That could come in handy. So it's light, but at the same time it doesn't feel totally flimsy. And then this is the timer. I guess you can fill with water in here, that little hole. And then this is the drain. And what you do is you make sure to leave it up while you're washing, and then when you want to rinse, gravity just makes it rinse. So this is a hard thing to test when you're at the store. The thrift store I go to does have outlets so you can check things to see if the power works. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Down in there you have the agitator, and you know, not somebody that's trying to make you mad, an agitator to wash your clothes. So we'll turn the timer on. And what I notice is it's spinning one way, then it'll stop, and it'll spin the other way. So it might do a semi-decent job of washing clothes. It stops and lets stuff, that's just how a washing machine works. So I think what it's time to do now is get it all set up and see how this thing does washing some clothes. We'll actually wash some clothes in it. Like to show, there's the sticker. $12.99, 25% off, $9.75. So here we go. I'll show you real quick. I hooked this Belkin up, so I'm going to try to see how much power this thing uses, because as RVers know, that matters. And we'll put the clothes in, and there's the drain. So when it's time to drain, it'll just fall down and go into the tub. Right, here we go. What I could do is hook up that sprayer attachment and fill it that way, but I'm just going to use a bucket of water. A little bit more. Probably don't need a ton. Now I'm going to put this detergent in, and it's not going to need a lot because we don't get a lot of clothes in there. Close the lid and turn it on real quick, just to kind of mix up the detergent. So remember, this is my first time using this. First thing, got a pair of sweats, a long sleeve t-shirt, a short sleeve t-shirt, pair of heavy socks, and another pair of sweats. So we got 2 pairs of sweats, 2 shirts, pair of socks. Again, it's small. I'm going to start it up real quick. See how it does. Looks like it needs some more water. I'll put a tiny bit more detergent in. Because again, this is my first ever use. Close the lid because there's probably a good chance it will spray everywhere. Fiddled around with a bit and took a little time to get it right. It seems to be washing the clothes. So it's using 160 watts. This is obviously a learning experience since I've never used it before. I will say once I took that second pair of sweatpants out, I think it's working a lot better. I think this would be fantastic, like I said, maybe like one pair of jeans, and I think it would be really good for like t-shirts, light things, but if it gets too heavy, it just can't spin them. You know, if there's just too much weight in the clothes, it doesn't seem to stir them up, but that's working really well, I think. So I'll let you watch it spin a little bit if you're interested in that. And then we'll jump to what I think should happen next. And if I use it a lot, I'll probably figure out how best to use it. But I have a couple thoughts. So those of you concerned about power, it's pretty much stuck to about 160 watts while it's running. Then when it stops, you see it drop down to nothing. Then it starts back up again. And it seems to stick pretty much in that 160 watt range. Here are the specs on it. Alright, so it's done. I'm going to take the hose, drain the water out. Just gravity, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so it's drained the water out, and I guess this is the point where I try to figure, alright, what would I do if I was using this out in my RV while traveling? They also make small portable dryers. But I would think that if I was in my RV, I would hang stuff up on a clothesline to dry outside. But since I'm in the house, I'm going to take this stuff downstairs and I'm going to use my dryer because I have a dryer. I think I would also run a second time through using fabric softener so that things come out a little bit better. But since, again, I have my dryer, I'll just put some bounce sheets in when I do it. So pretty much all the water has drained out. Figured I'll do now is I'm gonna pick the clothes up, move them around a little bit, and I'm just gonna rinse it with more water. Let that drain out. And if I was doing this in my RV, I would do it outside, and I would just use biodegradable soap, you know, and maybe that sprayer would help to rinse the clothes once it's done. Because basically all you're doing with this really is you're washing the clothes in the bucket without having to scrub them by hand. So I've drained that rinse load out, and I'm gonna pour more water in. And again, this is probably the point where I would put fabric softener in and run it through, but I'm going to let it run for a couple 3 minutes, swash it around and try to get any remaining detergent off the clothes. Time to drain, and time to give my overall opinion. I like it. I think in the right circumstances it could be very useful. I would say from my first use of it, maybe 4 or 5 t-shirts at a time. Shorts and stuff like that. Again, you got to keep the loads pretty small, but it seems to do as advertised. I think the wattage use for those RVers out there, 160 is not terrible. It's small, it's portable. I'm real happy with paying under 10 bucks for mine. We'll see if I keep this or if I re-gift it to somebody. But I think if you're looking for a small, portable washing machine, this Panda, it does what it's supposed to do. You just have to realize what it is. A lot of times people get huge expectations past what something can offer. Maybe one pair of jeans at a time, possibly two. It can extend your RVing, make you less offensive to those around you. I would recommend it, as long as you go in knowing what it is. It's not a laundromat, it's not your washer and dryer at home. Okay, I'm at the end. I hope this was some kind of helpful for people out there. This thing isn't bad. Oh, again, I wanted to add, obviously, the clothes still have a lot of water in them. This isn't going to spin dry all the water out of them. So you're either going to need to wring them out, or you're just going to need to let them drip dry outside if you're using this. And I would assume, which is you shouldn't do, but I would assume you would definitely want to use the fabric softener, because if you've washed things and dried them outside, they can get a little bit rough and brittle, so I would think that's important. Keep your eye out if there's something that you think might help you in a small apartment or in your RV. Oh, and second, things seem clean. They smell all right. I'm looking at the clothes, and they seem clean. So I think it did a semi-decent job for what it is. Always keep that in mind. For what it is, I think this could be helpful. Now I'm going to seriously be done and say have a great and wonderful day. On to the dryer.